Welcome everyone back to Mystic by Colette, and my channel is dedicated to helping you empower yourself, change your story, and claim your I am. I am Colette Mesdag, Intuitive Guide and the creator of Mystic Empowerment Cards. This week the card reading theme is releasing. This week's theme has been suggested to us by one of my dear friends and followers of this channel, and Jessie, you will be getting your card reading in your email this month. As a reminder for those of you who are already familiar with this, and for those of you who are new to this channel, when you make a suggestion that I use for a card reading, you receive a thank you note from me and a reading that I send to you via your email. So once again, this week's theme is releasing, and we're going to get right to it, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more after the reading. All right, so here we're all set for the reading, and I've shuffled and laid out some cards. The cards I have here are again the three decks: the Mystic Bliss card, the Mystic Journey card, the Mystic Men of Magic card. Now, Mystic Bliss is for change and transformation because we often need to know what needs to be changed in order to move forward. The Journey card is for healing and nurturing, so that we have a sense of what requires to be nurtured or adjusted, taken care of in order to move forward. And your action piece, the next step, which is action and awareness, that comes with the Men of Magic. Now, I'm going to flip the first card and see what we've got. Oh, we have I am freedom. And I like this because it is very much a part of the theme today, which is release, or letting go what doesn't serve you. So I want to thank my friend Jessie for suggesting the theme, and it came after we did a labyrinth walk together that the theme was about release. So what do you want to release? What would make you feel free? This is so beautiful that this has come up. Two things I want to mention is the blade and the orb as part of this reading. Hopefully it won't make it go too long, but here we go. So the blade is often used as the symbolism of defense, but in this case it's at rest. So it means, to me, it's saying that it is just time to use the blade as a cutting tool for releasing things that are affecting your auric field or your thought patterns or energy. So that's what the blade is representing. Now, when we get to the orb, you probably recognize the orb from a few readings ago. Probably, I think it was week 4, where we did, I had the orb on the table with the cards, and I spoke a little bit more about that, about how clear quartz is very much about seeing things clearly. It magnifies the things that you are focused on, but it also is good for healing the aura and sealing what's affecting you there. So the phrase is see what is offered and take flight. So I want to mention here, because what's coming up for me is that you're being invited to go back to a conversation from a few days ago or even a week ago, and find those gems in that conversation that will help you release, because I think you've been given the information. You just require time to process that information. Now that you've had the time, you can go back and use that information effectively to help you heal. Okay, so it's probably about a conversation. The other thing that's coming up is a book, so it may have been something that you've been recently reading and you now have had time to process. You're being invited to return to information that you've been given, so see what is offered, and then that will help you release and find the freedom, or in this case it says take flight. Certainly will lighten your burden. Let's look at the second card. Nice. So the second card from the Mystic Journey deck is actually the very first card in the deck. Since it's the number 1 that's represented on the card, those of you who do have a tendency to enjoy numerology, you may wish to expand on the reading today using that information. So a couple of things I want to mention is, of course, that this card, being in the first 11 of the deck, is a maiden card. And the maiden is air. Air is thought. Air is creativity. Air is imagination. So it ties in nicely about what I was speaking earlier about when I said that it could be a conversation or a thought that you have picked up and now need to implement or apply in order to help you release what's been holding you back. The maiden is also about new beginnings. So when you can release, you will find yourself starting fresh with a fresh attitude or starting a new leg of your adventure. And of course, this is the I Am Adventurous card. And the I Am Adventurous card is also inviting you to step into your adventure. Take charge of your situation by making the choices that will serve you. In essence, release the things that are holding you back so that you have the freedom to go and start your adventure. So let's go to the third card, and I am listening. Speaking of adventures, the Ranger is your pathfinder. He is the person that is in charge of helping you find the best path. It may not be the easiest path or the quickest path, but it'll definitely be the best path and the safest path. So you're invited still on the adventure here. I love that, taking flight, have an adventure, and the Ranger card. But let's get more specific about the card in the sense that it is I am listening. He is in the south, so that's about passion and firing up the things that are going to serve you and releasing and burning away the stuff that doesn't serve you. And as the listening card, if you are following along in the guidebook, you will remember that the listening card is also speaking about knowing where you're going. So pay attention, listen, figure out for even the slightest whisper of guidance so that you know where you're aiming, where you're focusing, okay? So this is also a pay attention message. So now to bring all the three cards together and have the overall message with regards to release, you will find freedom when you step out of what you know and what has been holding you back onto your adventure. But pay attention, listen carefully for the guidances. Going back to what I said at the very beginning, that there may have been a book or a conversation or even a silent message or dream that has come to you that you are now ready and able to listen more carefully to that message. And because you've had time to process it, you may not have been able to understand the message when you first received it, but now that you have released your limitations and released your objections to some of that information. Objections is a big one, and that's usually in programming. So objection may have been the reason that you held back or weren't able to process or act on that information back then. Still a great time to start. Objection is a huge barrier for a lot of people. So release expectation is a huge one, and release your objections, because sometimes we're guided to do something, but it doesn't fit what we understand or know. Just give me a minute to switch out the cameras and we will go back to face-to-face, and we'll go through a little bit more details for you. So I hope that was insightful for a lot of you. I know I got a bit of a reminder myself of a few things that I needed to pay attention to, so I'm glad that these cards came up the way they did. So we'll review the cards briefly before we move on to any last minute stuff for this week. So here's the first card from the Mystic Bliss deck, which is I Am Freedom. And just a reminder that you just need to accept what is being offered to you. And so sometimes those are messages that you come across or receive and find yourself being challenged by them. But in a lot of ways, those messages will be catalysts for you to help you find your for helping you find your path. Okay. In case she looks familiar, it's not me, it's my daughter, my wonderful daughter. Okay, so card number 1, so the message of 1 may be speaking to you, or maybe you want to look into the element of air a little bit deeper. Those of you following along in the guidebooks will be able to gain more insights, of course. But for those of you who just want to understand, just generally, adventurous is about letting go of the things that are holding you back. So that's fear, fear of the unknown, fear of feeling that you may or may not succeed. Enjoy the adventure. And our third card is a Ranger card from the Mystic Men of Magic deck. The direction is south, speaking about being passionate, fiery in your, and determination for releasing. And just in this case, I am listening, goes back to the paying attention to the messages that have been coming to you. Look to see what has been presented and find freedom. Okay, so release. Just in closing, I want to mention again that the card decks are available for purchase. They are handmade, and if you have not seen the video on how they're made, that is available here on this channel as well. And it's a lot of fun to watch. I know I was being a little silly a couple of times, but I do enjoy sharing these with you, and I look forward to doing more card readings each week. Once again, if you do have a suggestion or an idea for a card reading, do post below, and I gather these up, and if your theme is selected, you do get a thank you gift from me. If you wish to book a personal reading with me, a little bit more extended, usually involving about 8 to 10 cards, we can do that either over Skype or in person. There's all kinds of options available. So I look forward to seeing you again on this channel. Just a reminder that if you do like what you see, please share, please comment, and subscribe. I do have fun, but I can't do it without you. Share the light, guys. Thank you.